All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
And I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Back again, still got some NBA action going on. It won't be back next week. The NBA will be done, but we'll talk about what we got left here on today's episode. Also, diving into the WNBA, some of the things going on within All Star Weekend. We're not making our All Star picks yet, but talking about some contestants that we could see in the 3 point contest and in the skills challenge. So we'll run through that today for you. Talk about some of the teams and where they rank amongst the WNBA's elite and the lesser here in this episode. So quite a bit going through, and obviously examining this last bit of the NBA Finals. And with it or quit it, back to me today. So I got the questions right here ready to go for Mr. Beej. I don't know if he's ready, but we'll find out here in just a second.
We're ready, man. Let's do it.
He's ready. We'll dive right into this basketball talk today. All right, BJ, we're down to what I hope and believe is the last game of the NBA Finals. Mainly because I've got a bet that it ends in six. So no
Still
matter
on
who,
that. Still on
yeah,
that.
yeah, no matter who wins it, but now it needs to be the Warriors. I need Warriors in six. So I don't
Good
want this thing
good
to go seven.
basketball out the window. You're just like, okay, please let it pay off. I don't care who wins, just let it end in six.
Long gone, long gone. Don't care any about who wins this. Well, I mean, I take that back. I care about who wins because it has to be Warriors in six now
Yeah.
for me to win. So ahead of that, it was anybody who wins in six. But Warriors versus Celtics tomorrow night as we record here on a Wednesday. For the most part, as far as like the averages between the two teams and kind of what their main things have been doing. It's been kind of a line throughout this series. Points per game. You're only a basket apart, 103 and 105. Rebounds neck and neck with each other, 43 a game versus 41 a game. Assists per game pretty close to each other as well. 25 for the Celtics and just shy of 23 for the Warriors. Um, BJ, it's been a good series.
Yeah.
The only weird thing that I would note is that every single victory, along with, I guess you would say, the rest of the playoffs, but those were more so blowouts. They've all been by double digits.
Yeah.
And the funniest part is the last two have been exactly by 10 points. Imagine if you were a guy, placing a bet, whether it's a live bet or a bet before the game, that, Golden State was going to win by 10 the past couple of games. 10 or more. Are you 10 to 12
Yeah.
points or something like
Yeah.
that? You cashed.
Well,
That's
and
that's
you're sweating
crazy.
it out because in both those games it was like 15 to 16 points with like a minute to go, and then a couple like garbage time buckets that cut it to within 10. But at the same time, you're thinking, oh man, I got to sweat this out because it can't be too much, but it can't get too close to the margin. So
Yeah, it's a weird series, oddly enough. You see the
yeah,
averages are pretty close together, but Boston, they're so up and down. Hey, let's go through Boston's total points in each game so far, shall we? Game one,
yeah,
120. Game two,
really good.
88.
Ooh,
Game three, 116. Game four, 97.
ooh.
And it didn't trend back up like it had been, and it's
No,
down 94 in game five. Does it go back up, or do they just kind of fall off a cliff here? BJ, what have you liked the most about this series, and does it end tomorrow night?
I I like what I saw from the defenses in game five. It looked to me like, we kind of finally got, a lower scoring game than we had the past few times. What I've
Yeah.
kind of really been surprised by, what has been the catalyst for Boston this year, is not having to rely on Tatum, and having his teammates help him out around him. We were talking, last week in the last episode, Drew, about Tatum and how much he was going to be able to contribute, and whether Boston, if he could get his shot going, if they were going to win the series, you know. And you look at Game Three, he was 9 of 23. That's not great, but the Celtics do end up getting the victory because they were able to, overcome that as a team, and more guys stepped up and put up points. In game four, Drew, 8 of 23 for Tatum, 4 of 8 from deep in a
Yeah,
23-point effort. He had 26 in game three, but the Warriors just had an absurdly insane performance from Steph Curry. 43 points, Drew. A lot of Curry critics had said, he never had that kind of LeBron Jordan finals game performance where he went for over 40 in a
yeah,
in a big time win. That was it. And that
yeah,
may be what shifted the series and what may end up being the difference maker. If the Celtics don't win at home tomorrow night in game 6, you might look back at the Warriors comeback led in, behind Steph Curry's second half performance and why they took potentially three in a row, similar to the 2011 Mavs and other instances, I'm sure, where a team goes down 2-1 and then wins three in a row to win the series. And then we were talking, just to finish off the point about Tatum, in game five, he wasn't even the leading scorer for, or no, he actually was the leading scorer in game five for both teams with 10 to 20 mark, 5 of 9 from deep. But the rest of the team, failed to, you know, the next closest was Marcus Smart with 20. And that's just not going to get it done when you're not getting that kind of level of performance from your teammates as you had been in the first couple of games, especially game one when they were able to, pick up the slack when he was having an off night and they were able to come away with get that big victory that we thought might set the stage for the series, but may prove to be a moot point at the end of it.
yeah. And the fact that the Celtics really couldn't, muster up a win in Game Five with the Warriors, and not completely Curry, but from deep.
Mhm.
Shooting pretty bad, from three, 9 for 40, 22.5% from deep, and Curry didn't make a single shot from deep and shot 9 of them.
Yeah.
He said it obviously bothers him because he's a shooter and you want to impact the game that way. But thankfully, that's not the only thing that you do out there on the court. And that kind of rings true to Jason Tatum because he's a scorer, as people know, and we know he can do things defensively, but his scoring has not been great. Obviously, only averaging 23 points per game has had to do a lot of different other things. He has averages 7 rebounds and 7 assists in this series, and he's affecting the game in other ways. Defensively, blocking shots, getting some steals, and
Yeah.
just being effective on the court, even if it's not offensively scoring the ball. Because he's I, I haven't looked at his raw percentages again since that last time. I guess we can go ahead and just look at it again.
Hmm.
When we looked at it the last time, BJ, he was shooting 50% from three. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not far off from that right now. He's still just missing his bread and butter shots.
Yeah.
Everything inside the arc, the mid range, the elbow, short corner where he likes to live.
Yeah.
And that's in part of Golden State making things tough on their best guy. But Jason Tatum, if he's to be a great player, I mean, he's got to get that going. And the
Yeah.
man's having trouble at the free throw line too. Like I don't know if it's just jitters he's not talking about, and like he's just way more nervous than he's alluding to. But
It
you
might
know,
be.
yeah, and I know Kobe didn't have the greatest first finals, when he first got there, but there's no I mean, Jason Tatum shooting 65% from the free throw line, that's what kind of
Yeah.
excuse do you have there? I've seen him just clank some stuff and it's
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense for this guy. So it's just one of those. And he'll learn from this. I think the next time you see Jason Tatum in the finals, if he makes it back, he will go crazy. He'll go crazy. I believe that fully. But I think the Celtics have dug themselves too much of a hole right now. And I remember last time we talked about this, Derek White was heavily involved in everything that's been going on for the Celtics, has not been very involved.
No.
And BJ, aside from out of players that get 25 plus more minutes, Robert Williams is the only one with a positive box plus minus for the
Yeah.
Celtics. Jalen Brown is neutral, but it's not positive. You know what I'm
No.
saying? So I
No.
mean, he's an even kind of net rating there. So everybody else is not doing great, and the only one doing consistently good, night in, night out, Robert Williams, and he's gonna command some money this off season.
Yeah.
But
Just,
it's just
just
kind of
to going back to your point about Derek White. Game 5, negative 13 plus minus 1 point. That's
Yeah.
not going to do it. And we were talking about Jason Tatum's free throw struggles.
Hmm.
Boston missed 10 free throws as a team in that game, and that ended
Yeah.
up being the difference maker. I mean, that 10 points that ties the game right there. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, you can't say if ifs and buts and everything like that, but they call them free throws for a reason. And if you're clanking that many, then odds are you're not going to increase your chances to win.
Man, and we looked at the shot chart last time on Jason Tatum, BJ.
Hmm.
It's more of the same story, and it's so weird how this is kind of lining out. So get this.
Okay.
From three, at least, the top of the arc, not the corners.
Hmm.
He is 19 for 37 from the top of the arc there. In the one corner, I believe it's the left corner if you're looking at the basket.
Hmm.
He's 0 for 3 in that corner, hasn't shot in the other. From the free throw line area,
Hmm.
or in all the mid range, like we talked about his bread and butter, the elbow and the short corner, all that mid range area.
Yeah.
Buddy is 4 for 20. 4 for 20. And then at the rim, attacking the rim right at the basket, 7 for 14. Not bad, but you want a little bit more at the rim stuff. You want a
Yeah.
higher percentage there. But,
Yeah.
in the paint in total, rim and just painted area in general, he is only 15 for 42.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
it's pretty rough. It's pretty
That's
rough.
almost 30%.
And
Or
for a guy scorching from deep, it's just so weird.
yeah,
Just
I don't think we've ever really seen a performance like this. Maybe outside of the just the 3 point specialists, where they're
no.
shooting so many threes and making them, but not doing as well with the rest of their shots. And especially for a player like Tatum, that as you mentioned, that's his bread and butter. That's where he is able to attack, and when they think he's going to spot up and shoot a three, and they get him, they get up and try to jump and try to stop it, and he just gives him a little rope a dope and drives and takes the easy bunny for two. I
And
mean,
I
when those aren't falling, that's not going to win you games.
and I don't want to give too much credit to the Warriors because I mean it's I think it's obvious that it's just his shooting because
Yeah.
he's doing it at the free throw line too, and that's where you
Hmm.
kind of get it. Like if he's making his free throws, his shot is on. Warriors defense is just affecting him, or he's got some
Yeah.
mild jitters, but he's missing free throws and jump shots that he makes all the time and
Yeah.
practices more than anything. So I
Yeah.
mean it's a fat combination of this man is just extremely nervous and his shots not falling at the right time. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
before this he was cooking in the playoffs, but now here we are. But
Do you think maybe it's a little bit of that and maybe some fatigue? I mean, this has been a long playoff, a long
yeah,
season, and
I
maybe
would.
when you've been shooting as much as he has, and you have to rely on him to get as many looks as they've been relying on him. Maybe his legs just he's just not got enough left in the tank, perhaps.
I would mostly cite tiredness. I'll cite it
Hmm.
a little bit, but not as much as I usually would,
Hmm.
because he's able to knock down the deep ball.
Yeah, I
So it
it
just
just
like
confounds you. What could possibly be the cause of this, where he's
yeah,
so good from deep, but he's just clanking everything else.
right, like a tired guy, you would think the three would probably be the hardest thing to hoist up,
Yeah,
and knock down aside from, mid ranges, short corner stuff that's closer and you don't have to put as much on it. But
I'm not in shape, Drew, and the 3 point shot is definitely the when I've been the rare time that I don't pull a muscle or fake a muscle when I'm shooting my jumper. The 3 point one is the hardest for me to connect on. I have to at
yeah.
least I'd probably go on 1 for 50.
Oh boy, I hope not. That's a lot of misses, Beach.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I hope not either. It's quite a while. It feels like it before you get to see one fall. So
all right, and relatively quick hits here for the last bit of NBA final. Well, first off, do you think it's ending in six tonight with Golden State winning it, or do you think it goes seven? And if it goes seven, who wins?
I think if Boston wants to win the series, they've got to win. I mean, that should go
Well,
without
I
saying.
mean, well, yeah, because they got to play another game
Hear,
and
hear,
win
hear
four.
me out. I don't think that I think there would be more momentum going into game 7. Obviously, if they don't win, the series is over, but you know what I'm trying to say, where they can use game 6 win as a springboard to go on the road to win Sunday night in potential game 7 if they win game 6, because they got the home crowd behind them. The Warriors, I think if what we saw from Andrew Wiggins in game 5, Drew, on Friday, where he was uh or not Friday, sorry, Monday. I don't know why got my days of the week confused. I guess I need to
Mhm.
go back to kindergarten. Uh, when what we saw from Andrew Wiggins, it shows that the Warriors. We talked about last week with Klay Thompson kind of struggling to find his shot. Well, he's responded since then and has made 5 or more threes in 2 of the 3. He made 4 in game 4, and has averaged. I think he had 25 in game 3. He had 23, I think, in game 4. So, he's not been the same, but he's slowly, I think, kind of, he's not necessarily as big of in a funk as he was. And then, when you had an off night like Steph did from behind the 3-point line in game 5, where he went over 9, it just shows that the Warriors, next man up. If it's an off night from Curry, then Andrew Wiggins steps up. If Clay's not having an off, or if Clay's doesn't have it, then Curry finds a
Are
shot,
you
or
beating
Jordan
around the
Poole.
bush?
No, I'm just
Then
trying to go.
make your official pick.
All right, I think that the Warriors just have too much. I think it's
So
gonna
Warriors
be.
in 6.
I think it's gonna be Golden State tomorrow. I
Yes.
mean, I think it's. I think the only way Boston wins is if Tatum keeps shooting and actually improves himself inside the 3-point line, and the rest of the team steps up. And that's not what we've seen the past 2 games, really. And
Mhm.
I don't know if I should expect that to change, but the last time the Celtics were in this spot, they were able to win 2 in a row, one at home and one on the road, to steal a series. So that if
Okay.
anybody has done it this postseason, it's the Celtics team.
Okay. I want to get in some quick stuff before we shift gears to
Okay,
WNBA and tell people about DraftKings.
will do.
Um, do you think if Jason Tatum plays the next 2 games like he's been playing this whole series, but the Celtics still happen to win both games and win in 7, do you think Tatum should get the Finals MVP?
No,
Who should get
I
it?
uh that's tough to say, because it really. I mean, Tatum has been kind of the guy, but he has had some struggles. I mean, maybe Jalen Brown. It depends on who really steps up in these last 2 games and what is the real difference in game 6 and 7. If he's struggling from inside the 3-point line, I don't think Tatum deserves it just for being a 3-point specialist. I don't know if that's a rough thing to say or not, but
I
if
think
he
it's
doesn't
fair.
find his shot, I don't think he deserves it.
All right, couple of quick ones and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Give me your biggest disappointments in the NBA Finals so far.
I think the biggest disappointment really has just been the inconsistencies from the rest of the Celtics,
Oh,
where.
sorry, I meant players
Oh,
specifically.
player. Okay. Um, I mean, I look back at what we've seen. I'm not going to say Jason Tatum from inside the 3-point line. I think, Al Horford has had some, moments at times where he shined, but I
One
just
good game.
yeah, one good game, and that was game 1, where he was actually hitting some shots and some deep shots at that. But I haven't really seen much of him since game 1.
Nope. It's very Al Horford like.
Yeah,
So
that's
so is
true.
that your only real notable disappointment?
No, I'll give you Clay, at least to
Ooh.
a certain extent. He's kind of found his shot a little bit since we talked last week, but still not shooting the lights out that Klay Thompson's known for in clutch moments. He was, I think, what, 40% the past 3 games, if that, maybe.
Oh, I don't know about the past few games.
I know before that it was ice cold, but he's made 4. I think he was 4 of 10 or 4 of 11 in game 4. He was 5 of 13 in game 3, and I think he was 5 of 11 on Monday in game 35.
It's getting a little better, but he's still
Yeah.
sub 40% from
Yeah,
both the
and
field and three.
that's not who he is.
But oddly enough, he's a positive box plus minus. Didn't see that one coming.
No.
Just barely, but you don't even really count that. All right, biggest surprises in the NBA Finals so far. You can give me two since you already gave me two.
Well, I mean,
If there's two,
yeah, I was gonna say what Steph Curry did in Game 4, and really, willing the
he's a
Warriors to come.
surprise though.
No, just the fact that he, answered the critics and actually, had his own Jordan-esque game. I think that was the most surprising to me because,
It's
we
surprising though.
it's not really surprising knowing what he is capable of. But you remember, Drew, just after Game 3, there was talk that he'd re-injured himself in that same injury he had that at the end of the regular season that kept him, rehabbing and missed quite a bit of time where he was just coming back. And so everybody was worried about, how he was going to look, and how he was going to, be able to, if he was going to be the same. So for him to not only have that injury happen in Game 3, but then turn around in Game 4 and have the best game of his finals career, that's what I mean by surprising. Because everything that had come out about him possibly have re-aggravating that hamstring injury, and then he does that, and you know effectively, if the Warriors win Game 6, shifted the series in their favor. That's what I mean in terms of surprise, just because of everything that had come out, and that we didn't expect that from him in that circumstance. I would have thought it would have happened earlier in the series, but before there was a threat of him possibly re-aggravating the hamstring.
Okay.
And then
All
I
right.
will I will give you
Oh, you got
for,
another one.
yeah, I was gonna say, we talked about it, but the surprise to me, yeah, I don't know if you'd classify it as a disappointment. It's just surprising that Tatum hasn't found his shot, but besides the 3-point shot, I don't we really don't know what to classify it as.
Well, make up your mind. Is it surprising or disappointing? You over here
It's
using
it's
different
it's
words when
both.
I'm
It's
asking for
both.
one. Okay,
It's
yeah.
both. It's
Okay.
both surprising and it's disappointing if you're a Celtics fan.
If I want to toss an answer in, I'll say biggest disappointment, Al Horford, but I expected that, and I don't like him anyway. So it's just like, yes, I feel great watching him suck.
You feel
And
justified.
I do. Biggest surprises, I would say surprise. Um, oh my gosh, I had him. Let me go back. Look at his face real quick. Andrew Wiggins. There we go.
Hmm.
Andrew
Yeah.
Wiggins, this whole playoffs kind of for the most part, but in this finals, he's been vital. I mean, Clay, like we said, has been kind of stinking it up, shooting it, and that little bit of help that Wiggins has provided for Curry has been monumental.
Yeah.
He's not shooting great from three. The only one really shooting all right from three is Curry. Kind of shortly behind him is Jordan Poole, not shooting as many, but um, Wiggins has been a real benefactor. He led the team outright in points and rebounds in their last game, and that was the first time I would believe in his career, regular season or playoffs, that he did that. So
Yeah.
Wiggins is finally trying to come into his own now, really kind of showing that number one pick off now, and really showing that he can be a good piece to a championship team. He's still not a top two guy. Might be a nice complimentary three, which is essentially kind of what he is now. I mean, as far as a scoring option, the big three is obviously Curry, Thompson, and Green, but
Yeah.
Wiggins being a top offensive option, a third one anyway, and mildly becoming a second one in this series, he's been really helpful. And he's right behind Curry in plus minus, and he's been really effective. Second leading scorer on the team, leading rebounder on the team. So I mean, he's been surprising to
Is
me
it too early
early.
to say that the Warriors won that trade when they got Andrew Wiggins for what was it they gave up? I mean, I know it was a pick, but I thought there was it
Oh,
Russell? D'Angelo Russell? No, it wasn't Russell, was it?
I don't remember who all was in that pick.
Yeah. But I mean, like we talked about, we talked about if the Warriors have another window beyond the Curry, Clay, Draymond, it's because they got Andrew Wiggins when they did.
Yeah, shout out to them for making that move. We didn't think Wiggins was going to be much, but he turned out to be a really good piece out in Golden State, and you
Yeah.
worry like, is this Wiggins? Is this Wiggins who Wiggins is now, or is it just a product of his new environment? Probably product of his new environment. So I'm gonna
I think it could be a little bit of both. I think if he ever does leave, he'll take what he learned and
well, we'll see how much you believe in that with a question I've got later for you. We'll see.
okay,
Uh, we shall see. But
we
BJ,
shall see.
I'm ready for the NBA champs to be crowned, and I'm ready for it to be the Warriors, so I can finish in six like I need it to.
The worst
Everybody,
case scenario for you right now is Warriors in 7.
right? But those NBA champs need to be crowned ASAP. Join that finals action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers, that could be you, can make any $5 NBA bet and get $150 in free bets instantly.
That's right, Drew. If you're looking to turn another small bet into a big part or into a big payday during the NBA Finals, you can do just that with a DraftKings same game parlay. This NBA season, a customer placed a $5 same game parlay and won over $5,000. Woof, wish it was me. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team is going to win, the total three pointers made, the total rebounds, and more. And boom, you've got a shot at an even bigger payout.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Make any $5 bet during the NBA Finals and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew, we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna yeah. I know. Yeah, it's Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Okay. All right, Drew, we're gonna talk some WNBA action. We got a little bit later of a start today for our live show. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, it came out the same time it always does every week. But the live show was a little bit delayed because we had some afternoon WNBA action with the Dallas Wings losing a close one, but still kind of just let the lead slip away against the toughest team to beat in the W this year, and that's the Vegas Aces. Oh,
The
had that
Dow-
one, could have gotten it. It felt like Drew.
The Dallas Wings are who you thought they were before the season started, not what you saw after they started. I believe it was 4-2, something like
Yeah,
that, or
4-0
three
on the
and
road
two,
or something.
something like, yeah, 4-0 on the road, and a good overall record to start things off with.
Mm,
But they turned right back into that team that they were. Turned right back and showed you that they haven't changed a whole lot. I've still already heard the excuses of we're a young team. We've been hearing that for 3 and 4 years now. Throw that away. I don't want to. I don't want to hear a young team excuse. Not one time. Not one time. I don't want to hear it at all. I will discount it every time I hear it now. But this Wings team, they're a team that can't play consistently, at least a full game of good basketball. They can give you 2 quarters, they can give you a half, they can give you a finish that's good if the start was bad, but they can't put 4 quarters together that are the same thing in each quarter. If you put
yeah,
the first half that the Wings had and the second half that these Wings had, translate that first half into what they should have done in the second half, they win that game. They win that game. But
yeah.
they let the Aces come back. I didn't get to see the start of this third quarter, unfortunately. Shout out Valley Sports Southwest for being awful. Um, but the Aces went on an 11-0 run after the Wings were up 16 at one point and trimmed the gap, and that's when everything just kind of started backpedaling for the Wings, and they were just like it was just chaos. They were just like they didn't know what to do. It seemed like, and when those things start happening, I think the Wings get flustered. They start
Yeah,
allowing easy baskets, taking jump shots, allowing a backdoor cuts that they shouldn't let happen all the time. Um, and it kills when scorers they like to go to sometimes. So and key players defensively like Kayla Thornton, who had an early couple of fouls, and Isabel Harrison, who got in foul trouble today, who Coach VJ has been wanting to get back into a groove because she's been
yeah,
saying she's been kind of up and down with her scoring, which that's I don't think that's in part of Izzy, but whatever. So Dallas just got to put things together. They give you the same answers every time. We just got to be consistent. we gotta be disciplined. We gotta, I mean, you gotta let go of the egos. We gotta play together. Can't allow backdoor cuts. Got to stay together defensively. Got to stay aggressive on offense. Do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of get tired of the same generic answers instead of like someone going in depth. Instead of being like, you know what, Arike Agumbawale has just been in her head lately. We've had these talks. She said blah 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 has been getting her to her. She does these methods before the games to try and get back into blah blah blah, and we'll see if those things work. We don't get any of that. We just get,
No.
you know, uh, Arike has just got to be Arike. We need her to score. This team goes as she goes. Yeah, example things like that. But we don't get the in depth of like the meat of what could be going on to like expound upon it or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh no, I just gotta make shots. We just gotta be unselfish and we gotta play together. Like
It's just
what?
the standard lines that you're gonna
It's
get
that's
though.
that's horrible though because they don't
I
use that.
know.
It's not always been like that, and
You kind of
the
get that same in every sport though, I
and
think.
I don't think in every sport a coach or player that wants to give you something will give it to you. A team that wants to hide something will hide it.
Yeah.
And BJ, as we know, as high school football play-by-play guys, we know from coaches in high school level because they love to do this. We can get a lot of coach speak, and that coach speak, as far as this athletic perspective goes, has translated to the players. It's not the coach giving us coach speak; she's answering stuff. I mean, we can see
Yeah.
Coach VJ's emotions all the time. She's
Yeah.
cussed one time on the post game. It was accidental, but you can see
Yeah.
her frustration. She'll tell you like what's up. Like, hey, these players are being selfish. Like, hey, we're allowing backdoor cuts. Hey, we're not communicating on defense or whatever. But
Yeah.
this team's got to get it together. This is the third four-game losing streak, BJ, in the past 2 seasons. They had two last year, and they've already got one this year. You
Well,
don't
I
want
mean,
you don't want me to get the three-game losing streaks. That's way too many in the past few seasons. This
no.
you can count it more than you might be able to get two hands on it.
Well,
So,
here's what I'll say. Yes, it is a 4 game losing streak, but also consider the opponents they've played in these last five. They
oh,
went
not
on the
you
road
too.
and beat Seattle without who I think Stewie was still kind of, was she still in protocol at that point or was she just coming back?
She played.
Okay, but it wasn't the same that we saw from her over the weekend here at the College Park Center. I mean that fourth quarter on Friday night, back and forth, but just shot after shot. Enrique would hit one, Stewie would hit one. It was just insanity what you expect from a Wings Storm game. And then Sunday I didn't get to watch, but I know you were there, and it wasn't quite the same. The Wings were not able to fix the problems that led to the loss on Friday night when they were coming from behind and nearly got the victory. But they also have played the Aces twice, who have been the best team in the league for a reason so far this year, Drew. And so maybe it's
God,
just because it's been a tough part of the schedule, but there is
man.
some things they need to fix as well.
Man, y'all sicken me cutting this team so much slack. Oh my God. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Like, because it's the same thing year after year. Oh my God, they had a tough stretch of Seattle and Connecticut. Oh, a tough stretch of the Aces and Connecticut and the Storm back to back to back.
Well, I know they've
Shut
they've
up!
gone they've gone and
No!
won at
No, no, no.
Washington and Connecticut already this year, Drew.
Don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no excuses about tough stretches.
Yeah,
Every stretch in this league can be tough.
yeah,
Every stretch in this league at any point can be tough. And this team has just, I mean, and I'm over here complaining about them saying they got to be consistent. They do. Oh my God, put together one game where you don't have any grievances, but to say they just played better than you or you made one mistake. Like, get to that point to where you're talking less and less about the same things each game as to why you're losing. Like, if it's I don't know if it's just one small thing that that's something you can get over, but consistency, my God, we've been talking about the Dallas Wings and consistency since I started covering them. Since I started covering
yeah,
them, and that was 2018.
yeah.
That is five different ball clubs
Seasons, yeah,
and three and four different coaches that have not been able to muster consistency within this roster, no matter who's here. No matter who's here. Some
yeah,
of the players are most of the same players. Some of the players are most of the same players. But, same old crap. Keeps happening, and it's just getting annoying with this team. They've got a lot of talent. They can put things together, and one thing that's been severely getting their way this year specifically, we know, Enrique's antics haven't been great, but just general egos within this team, and that's the problem with.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come at Greg Bibb on this one. I think Greg Bibb wants to be Jerry Jones so bad. I think he wants to be him really bad to have his paws on a championship if this team ever wins one. He wants his fingerprints all over it. Him
Yeah.
being so adamant about drafting a team, growing up with it, and trying to win with it is him trying to have his fingerprints on everything. He wants to say, like, yeah, it was me who drafted Ty Harris, Satu Sabale, and Enrique Agumbawale and made this trio our championship nucleus for Dallas Wings or whatever.
Yeah.
He wants to feel that he wants to feel like he did that, kind of like Jerry does with him keeping control over everything Cowboys for the
Yeah.
most part. And it's coming to a fault. And when they got Tierra McCowan, they did need rebounding and rim protection. Yes, but I mean, even though that might not be a bad player to add into your team in Tierra, it's not how coach wants to play at all. And she's been very adamant since she showed up how fast she wants to play. She wants to lead the league in pace and in steals. Tierra McCowan is not a fast individual and is extremely bad in space. She's a good body, she's good size, and if you can get the post ups going to dominate in a size advantage, or if she can beat a matchup her size 1-on-1, awesome. But how effective and how much of a good shot is a post up these days, BJ? It's not a
No,
good shot.
not
And
not the way they're playing basketball anymore,
and
Drew.
and there was a metric during the season for the Dallas Mavericks when we still had Porzingis that, you know, after the Carlisle era when he was still posting up, that's not a shot that every NBA team will recommend as far as going into, like, setting up a post up. Like nobody really does that anymore unless you got Embiid, then he
Hmm.
does what he does. But Porzingis was so good and efficient with his post ups that it ended up becoming a good shot because it was so efficient. You get it to
Yeah.
him, it results in points no matter more often than not. But in
Yeah.
Dallas's case, you can't even half the time get the ball in there to get the post up. There
Yeah.
was a clear example today where they're trying to force feed Tierra McCowan inside. I think it might have been on Aja, but she was clouded with two other wings floating back because it was so clear and obvious that they're just trying to toss it into Tierra. They don't make it like, they're swinging the ball, pump fake here, dump back in. It's just, oh, I can't get you here. Get back, still try and toss it. And people are just, Kelsey Plum is shrinking back off of, I think it was Ty Harris who passed the ball, shrinking back to kind of play back a little bit because Ty has already decided that she is throwing the ball and she's not
Yeah.
going to shoot it. So, they just drop back, make that difficult. Asia gets a hand on it. Boom, Kelsey gets it, and they're going the other way. So, the post ups, one, they're not working when she does get it and try to score. Like every now and then she can score, but it's not at such a rate that you should keep doing it all the time and make it a point to do it in the games.
Yeah.
Make her get in there and box out and get rebounds and get points like that because the post up is just not working for this team.
Yeah.
So they've got to start doing some things that they know work and stop trying to force things to happen just to appease other players. Like, yeah, I mean, you want to get Tierra going. She doesn't really have an outside game and she's not good in space defensively. So you feel like you got to post her up to get her some points. Well, I mean, by God, you brag about her rebounding. She can just clean the glass and eat up points like that. I mean, who's gonna
Yeah.
I mean, not very few people in the league are be able to physically box out Tierra McCowan. If she can get in there and get position, that rebound is hers. And she can get easy points like that, and that would be an easy way for her to be a double machine off of the
Yeah.
bench because she's not going to be a starter for this team. Uh, we went way too far into this wing stuff. Sorry,
That's
I
I
get,
was.
I get,
It's all
I,
right.
I get
Here,
annoyed
here-
with the team.
yeah.
Um,
I just want to make this point real quick, and it will take 2 seconds. The next 2 weeks, Drew, if it's still the same stuff that you've been
two
watching and
weeks,
seeing,
I give it one.
well, the schedule is much easier the next 2 weeks. So let's see how they do the next 2 weeks. If you're still seeing the same mistakes, I mean, I'm pretty much on the fence, leaning your way right now as it is, but I'll fully jump over at this point and be right there with you if we're still seeing this in the next 2 weeks
The
with this
Wings,
Wings team.
the Wings have to turn their four-game losing streak into a four-game winning streak for me
Yeah.
to really believe them.
And they play. I think
And
they've got the Mercury a couple times. They've got the Lynx. They've got, I think, a trip out to Atlanta. There's some winnable games. It's just you've got to figure out. You know, I mean, they've been pretty close against some of the best teams. They've got the talent to be up there. They just have to, stop being, as you said, predictable.
they started off the season 3-2 before Satu and Tierra joined, and since then they're 3-6.
Mm,
Pretty gross.
that's not
Uh,
good.
hopefully they get it worked out, BJ, or it's just going to be a whole
Yeah.
lot of me sitting at those home games at the press conference table, just like, Coach, what was it this time? What can you say this time? Oh, consistency again? Oh, we knew that.
Have you ever seen the movie The Natural? It's a baseball movie.
No, I have
It's
not.
the team goes through a long losing streak, and so you just see this montage of they bring in like the the priest after every loss, and you just see a montage of him multiple times. Losing is a disease, and it just becomes like such a running punchline because they're not doing anything different, and it just seems like it's the same old. It's like, what are you going to expect a different answer in the press conference? It's just going to be the same thing in coach speak, as opposed to losing is a disease.
All right, enough about the stinking wings. WNBA. Let's kind of go through the standings here as of right now, and I think that's including the wings game. Yes, it did
Yeah,
update it. Awesome. Glad they updated. Sometimes they're slow. All right, WNBA standings as it currently stands after the Aces Wings game on a Wednesday afternoon. Wings still sitting at seventh, but a very dangerous seventh as they're now only a half game ahead of the Sparks in eighth, only one game ahead of the Mercury and Liberty, who are tied for ninth. That is not good.
mm-mm.
As we continue to teeter, the only team or one of two teams in the league on a four-game losing streak. The other team, BJ, the Minnesota Lynx in last
Yeah,
place. Pretty gross. But the Aces obviously getting it done this year. Right now, Coach of the Year is Becky Hammonds to lose. To be honest, so we'll
yeah.
see how that goes. Especially coaching up what's looking like 3 to 4 All Stars in this year for the Aces as well. They're
Drew,
a well-oiled
Drew. I
machine.
think I think it's hers, even if they don't win the final.
I mean, it is a
I've been
regular
that
season
impressed.
award, BJ.
Yeah,
So I hope she gets it, even if they don't win it. But no, she's going to win it. Even if they finish second, probably I think she can win it.
yeah,
The only way I think she doesn't is if the Sky happened to finish with the 1 or 2 seed. I think if the Sky are the 2 seed, they might give it to James Wade, but I don't know. It does seem like it's Becky's to lose though.
yeah,
But the Connecticut Sun been showing that they're as dominant as ever. With they've only had a couple of real head scratchers this season. Their opener to the Liberty, and then the loss to Dallas in that one home game to give them their first home loss
yeah.
and one of their only two home losses, by the way. Um, but they're still as good as ever. They have Alyssa Thomas running the point guard, if you can believe that, with Jasmine Thomas out, and I mean Alyssa's averaging nearly 8 assists a game, and I mean the engine is going crazy for Connecticut, and it's working with those
Hmm.
big lineups. Kurt is running out. Kurt is running out a lineup of, oh god, let me make sure I get this right. Alyssa Thomas at point, Courtney Williams, Dewana Bonner, Jonquel Jones, and Brianna Jones. Whew, that's that's a unit. That is a unit. Chicago Sky, really, man, Emma Meeseman fitting like a glove out there in
Yeah.
Chicago. Both Finals MVPs are playing good basketball. Candace playing good as well. Already had triple double earlier this season. So Sky defending champs looking good, looking good. Seattle Storm,
Hmm.
obviously now that they've gotten healthy, they're playing top notch basketball. I mean,
As we
they
expected.
they still have encountered some injury things yet again. Saw Mercedes Russell is out, and I think Sue Bird is sick. So they've had that bug throughout this season so far. But as long as Stewie and Jewel are on the court, it seems to be for the most part okay.
Yeah.
And they can pretty much stay afloat. But if you lose Stewie, that's when things kind of fall off the rails.
Yeah.
Um, Mystics playing good basketball. Elena Deladon still kind of playing every other game, not playing back to backs. Not truly her MVP self. I believe she had single digits in last night's game. But Shakira Austin, the number 3 pick in the WNBA draft, BJ, Shakira Austin. I really like Shakira Austin. She's a great player.
Yeah.
She's got the confidence that she's got some ultimate confidence. I mean, if you would have, good rookies like this be as confident and as confident in her game as she is and as aggressive. I mean, she said, I quoting from the post game. She's I'm like that. She's like that. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes it makes the world of a difference when she can have the confidence to come up in a post game and just make the world be known or let it be known that she is just like that.
Yeah.
So she's big time out here, and anytime that she gets a chance, she's playing high level basketball. Whether it's Elena Deladon in the game or not. But she's over here talking about I'm just like that, and she says it's her time. So I
Yeah.
mean, the Mystics have it's really glaring now how good of a trade that was for them. They got
Oh
exactly
yeah.
who they wanted. Even in limited minutes, she's still a quality player. Really kind of inching in the rookie of the year race. If Ryan wasn't so crazy and Alyssa wasn't starting the ball, it would be Shakira's. But if Shakira was a starter in this league, right? I think she could be maybe already just because of
Mhm.
her motor and her confidence. If she was starting,
Watch
she would
out.
be averaging near a double double probably right now because she's extremely efficient. She's one of the most efficient players in the league right now. I'm not gonna freaking say that she's like top 3 or anything, but she's no slouch. I don't want to be wrong, but I know I saw her percentages or heard about them yesterday, and I know they're amongst the top in the league. So she's really
Yeah.
taking care of business as a rookie. Continuing to go down the standings here, just talk a little bit about each team. The Atlanta Dream. Atlanta Dream, they're doing better than anyone expected. We didn't expect Atlanta Dream to be in the playoff race at mostly any point kind of this season. You knew Ryan Howard would be a good player and be able to score, possibly coming in, but you didn't expect this team to be in the playoffs per se. So a little bit of a shift here, but they've got a lot of mixed around talent, some veterans, some young people, to where it's a very interesting cast. It's one of those that you can't sleep on or they'll win. Um, and it seems though that teams are kind of figuring things out though with the Dream as things have kind of gone on here. 5-5 in their last 10. Um, just kind of floating 500, been able to get some, been able to be beaten, lost back to back. But if they can start getting some scoring through some others on a consistent basis and not just having it be the Ryan Howard show, and not only getting it to others when she's struggling, then they'll be able to stay at that spot probably and make some noise. Definitely cause trouble. We talked about the Wings who are sitting at seventh. The Sparks now under Fred Williams now.
Hmm.
He can only do with what he's given with this roster. It's the roster's got talent, but the talent doesn't necessarily all fit together. They're still able to do some good things on the court, but you know, it's just not with what Fisher was doing. This team is kind of in a certain place right now to where Fred's got to come in and fix it. So how he's gonna fix it, I don't know, but or how he's gonna try to fix it, I don't know. I should say. But getting Kennedy Carter some more playing time is definitely a start because we saw the differences between when she plays 16 plus minutes and when she doesn't. How many games the Sparks win and versus
Yeah.
when how much they lose. They didn't win the last one that they played, even though Kennedy played some more minutes. But they're adjusting. It's Fred's regime now. He runs a different ship than the rest, and I believe that loss was against the Aces. So I mean, that was Asia revenge game versus Liz, just to kind of show her who's boss kind of there. So she had the petty little Instagram picture with the shot over Liz on that was great. I love the pettiness sometimes, but yeah, The rest of these teams on the bottom, Phoenix Mercury, feisty, but trying to figure it out every single day. 3-7 in their last 10 games. New York Liberty, everybody thought they were dead in the water, but now they're starting to find some life and win some games.
4-2 in their
Uh,
last six, and they've nearly beaten some of the best teams. They nearly got the Sky on Sunday.
right, they're ones that if they can actually figure it out, they'll be the most feisty team in the league,
Yeah,
over Dallas and Atlanta. Indiana, a whole bunch of young players just trying to get some things going. Kelsey Mitchell still scoring at an absurd rate, even with all this young talent around her trying to develop. She could potentially be an all star this year. I doubt it because the fever is so far down. But Minnesota Lynx, unfortunate luck, lost Sylvia Fowles indefinitely and just can't win games. They had a close one last night and they weren't able to pull it out. I believe that was last night.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They weren't able to pull it away. So, Seattle escaped with one that Minnesota probably should have stolen, but that's just Seattle. They're going to come away with it.
Hmm.
And there go your standings. BJ, let's get into a little bit of 3-point contest talk. Last year I was wanting Marina Mabry in this stinking contest, but they did not put her in it. Instead, they had some other players who were, not bad 3-point shooters, but
Yeah,
would have rather had Marina Mabry in this last year to compete against Quigley and kind of make it a more fun deal than it was. But I assure you, some of these contestants from last year will be returning, but
yeah,
I definitely want to add Marina Mabry to the mix. Allie Quigley, aging relatively in the league. I'm not going to call her old. I don't want to be rude like that. I think she's around like 34 though. So this could be one of her last 3-point contests. You got to expect the reigning champ to be in this. She's a 3-time champ now.
yeah.
Um, isn't that who won last year? I don't want to quote myself. Uh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. She did win last year too. I just want to make sure.
I thought
Yeah, she's
so.
a 3-time champ now, and we're looking to add some more competition to this. Jonquel Jones, the MVP, was in it last year. Jewel Lloyd, Sammy Whitcomb. So
Yeah,
we'll see if so. So let's see. Off the top, 3-point shooters that I would want in this. I wish I had my top 3-point percentage papers there at the house though. Let's see. Let's see if I can do some league leaders real quick.
I was gonna say you got to have Kelsey Plum. I think she's leading the league in threes made. She's not the best in like in terms of 3-point percentage, but I think she's sixth.
Oh yes, I would like Kelsey Plum in this contest. That would be fun.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Marina Mabry, Kelsey Plum. We'll go by 3-pointers made. Maybe not efficiency, but we'll go 3-pointers made.
maybe
Uh,
seventh in 3-point percentage in the league right
okay.
now.
So Kelsey Plum is number one in 3-pointers made this season with
Hmm.
3 a game, shooting it at 43%. She absolutely better be in that 3-point competition.
Yeah,
Um, you could argue points for Alicia Gray as well.
yeah.
I mentioned Marina; they're both shooting. Actually making 2 a game, shooting 45 and 42% respectively.
Hmm.
Those percentages are above average in the WNBA. I think
Yeah, yeah.
40 plus in the W is like big time shooters
Elite.
from
Yeah.
3. Yeah. So I think the average, I looked at this one year. I want to say it was like maybe 36 to 38 or 37 to 39, something like that. Is kind of your average range for the 3-point shot. Anything above that is top tier in the league.
So
Um,
Sabrina, Jewel Lloyd, they're both shooting above 37 right now. They're
right.
not above 40 right now, and they're still really good 3-point shooters.
There's only a couple in these top 3-pointers made.
Even
Uh,
Jonquel is below 40 at
this
38.8.
this top 3-pointers made list here, only Diane Taurasi and Enrique are shooting below 37% from 3 of the top. I believe at least 10 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, of the top 10, which ends at Sue Bird, they're the only ones shooting below 37% from 3. But let's see. So we got 4 contestants to this. I'll go ahead and pick mine. Even though Allie Quigley is not as high up on this list this year.
Hmm.
As far as makes and percentage, ooh, that percentage is actually super rough this year. It's actually pretty
Yeah.
bad. They might not put her in the contest. But for nostalgia, just if they do and they just want someone to take down the champ, which that's very possible, I think this should be Kelsey Plum,
Hmm.
Ryan Howard,
I like it.
Marina Mabry,
Hmm.
and Allie Quigley.
Okay.
Or if you don't want Allie because she's shooting really bad this year, then put Alicia Gray in.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you want me to pick four others, or can I?
Yes, I want you to pick
Okay.
four for sure.
Well, I was gonna say I wanted Kelsey Plum for sure, and then I was
Yeah.
gonna take Alicia Gray if you were gonna take Mabry. I wanted Ryan Howard too. You were talking,
Ooh.
about her
I
percentages.
bet your fourth
She,
is Sabrina.
no, actually, I think Jonquel
Ooh.
Jones. She's
Jonquel
just
back again? Okay.
Yeah, she's just below 39%. She's actually
I'm with it.
shooting above Sabrina.
Because
So
last year, adding John Quell in and having the big in the 3 point contest was their kind of mix up for it.
yeah,
I think this year, adding in the rookie and Ryan Howard, who's actually one of the leaders in the 3 point shooting, that would be a good
yeah,
good wrinkle to toss in, whether whether she makes the All Star team or not. Which I don't think she'll end up making the All Star team, but she should go to All Star weekend to shoot in the 3 point contest. That
yeah.
would
She's
be
tied for ninth in efficiency right now,
yeah,
39.8, just below 40.
yeah. She's getting it done.
Yeah.
Okay, skills challenge, BJ.
Uh,
WNBA skills challenge coming up as well.
mhm.
What who are some of the players that you want to see in this year's skills challenge?
Yeah, I think I want to see some players like I think they should invite Courtney Vandersloot leading in assists. I think she's got one of the best passes in the game, so that would be part of the challenge. Uh, Stewie is one that I definitely want to see. I know she'll be an all star. Uh, you could make the argument. I've been big on the aces all year, Drew. So if you want Asia Wilson to be part of the skills challenge, I'm absolutely for it. How many do you want me to how many do you want me to give you?
Oh man, I don't remember how many were in the skills challenge. I'm trying to find the bracket. I'm pretty sure there was a bracket last year,
Hmm.
but I can't find the bracket right now. Oh, this is killing me. I can't find it. Well, BJ, well, I could just kind of throw out some names, I guess, until I find this dang thing.
What about Skylar Diggins Smith?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Let's
Natasha
see.
Cloud. We talked about the Mystics.
Yeah. Uh, Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that would be
Erica
fun.
Hamby.
Man, where the stink is this stuff? That's crazy. I can't find it.
Is it not on the website still?
I'm trying to find it. I've only seen the 3 point contestants thing from last year. I don't see the skills challenge
Hmm.
from last year stuff. I don't know. If you find it, that's cool. Um, I don't remember how many
Okay.
are in the skills challenge, so I guess we can just toss out some interesting names unless you find it. Um,
I'll
Al-
look.
Alyssa Thomas, Skylar Diggins Smith. Those are good. Let's go Chelsea Gray.
Hmm.
Hmm. Man, okay, take John Quell out of the 3 point contest, put her in the skills challenge.
Okay.
Um, Also Brittany Sykes, the skills challenge. Let's look at
They didn't
another
have one
team.
last year, Drew. It was
Okay,
announced that they had it in 2019. They didn't have it last year.
okay, that makes sense why I couldn't find it. It had me confused for a second. So let's go back and see who those contestants were. I know that was a little bit. Diamond DeShields won that one. Um, that was fun to watch. I got to see that stuff live. I think there was a bracket. Why do I want to say there was a
Yeah,
bracket?
it was Vandersloot versus Sammy Whitcomb, John Quell versus Nafisa Collier, Diamond versus
Collier.
Odyssey Sims. Sorry, I knew that. I don't know why I confused myself. And then Brittany Griner faced off against Elizabeth Williams. And then
And
Diamond DeShields ran through and beat Jonquil for the in the bracket.
okay, so how many were there total?
So there were 8 total.
8 total. Okay,
Hmm.
so we got Skylar Diggins Smith,
Hmm.
uh, Jonquel Jones, Alyssa
Yeah.
Thomas,
Hmm.
um,
Vandersloot.
Vandersloot. Man, let's put Erica Wheeler in there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Aerial Powers in there. So what is that?
Hmm.
5,
That's 6, I think.
6. Um, man, let's get a rookie in there just for some fun. Uh, Destiny Henderson
Yeah.
was 7. One more. Isabel Harrison. There you go.
There we go.
That sounds like a
I
fun
like
list.
it. Yeah.
Sounds like fun actually. It'd be
And
good.
we do know this is coming back for this year for sure. They already announced it because I'm looking just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it will be coming back. So, oh man, I don't remember what those. What kind of matchups could we have with these guys? I don't even know how I would set up that bracket. I'd make it to where the ending could be fun though. So I definitely
Yeah.
just know that. Know that, BJ.
They
I
have
would make
not
it.
announced
Fine.
what events are coming back for All Star Weekend just yet, at least,
Well,
and it's getting pretty close because we're
everything's
less than a month away from it.
yeah, everything's in person, so they better bring both of those things back. 3-point and skills contest. 3-point was last year. It was back last year, but we need it all.
Yeah.
Point blank periods. All right, with it or quit it time. I
Woo!
went far longer than I intended to. Shame on me. I hate myself.
Hey, I think it's been a fun episode. Let's keep it rolling all the way through.
With it or quit it. All right, we got 5 questions from Mr. BJ this time around, and let's get to the meat of it, BJ. Number 1. With it or quit it. Rob Gronkowski is the best tight end in NFL history. With it or quit it.
I'm gonna say quit it. I
Oh,
think,
dang, that was quick.
yeah, I like what I've seen, Gronkowski in his career, but I think you look at some of the better tight ends that we've had all time. You look at Tony Gonzalez. You look at uh, it's not Priest Holmes. Who was the one that spent so many years with Kansas City?
That was Tony Gonzalez.
Well, yeah, I guess it was. I was thinking of him in Atlanta. I know he played there later in his career.
That might have been
Uh,
1 year, if
yeah,
anything.
it might have been. Uh, why am I blanking right now? I know for sure Tony Gonzalez I think would be ahead of him. There's not many tight ends that I put
Okay, I
ahead of
take that back. He
Gronkowski,
had
but
5 years in Atlanta to finish his career.
okay. I knew I remembered him being in Atlanta because I remember the year they lost to Kaepernick in the NFC Championship game. That was his only opportunity I think to go to the Super Bowl because he wasn't there when they went and lost to the Patriots 28-3 game. But at least Tony Gonzalez for sure. I'm blanking on other tight ends that I'd put ahead of Gronkowski, but I think he's one of the greatest, but not the greatest of all time. Top 5 at worst.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez resume pretty impressive. He
Yeah.
would have he would have had a 14-year streak of Pro Bowls,
Hmm.
but missed in 2009.
Was he injured that year, or just didn't have the stats for it, or?
I guess he just didn't have the stats for it that
Hmm.
year. Even though it doesn't seem like it was a crazy difference, especially compared to what he did the following years. So
Yeah,
that's mind-boggling. I don't know, but yeah, he almost had a streak from '99 to 2013 Pro Bowls the entire
man,
time,
man,
and all pros for all but like 5 or 6,
yeah.
which is a freaking lot. But okay, all right. No, Gronk is the best tight end. Respectable, respectable. Number 2, pink lemonade is better than regular lemonade. With it or quit it.
Yeah, I'll say with it.
Hey,
I don't drink a whole lot of lemonade,
I don't blame you.
uh, but
Sugary.
yeah, I was gonna say that when I was a kid, I think I gravitated more towards the pink lemonade drinks as opposed to regular lemonade drinks. It depends on if you're like at a restaurant or whatever, if it's mixed in or if you're just getting like a bottle. If it's just at a restaurant, I think get the regular lemonade though.
Pink lemonade is always superior. Remember that.
Okay, remember.
Number three. This is what I referenced earlier.
Okay.
Andrew Wiggins will not make another All Star team in his career. With it or quit it. And BJ,
Oh,
remember
this
that
one's tough.
that's your answer will determine whether or not you think Andrew Wiggins is a system player or not.
I'm going to say quit it. I think
There you go. He
that
is a
he,
system player.
yeah, I think he will at some point make another All Star team, whether it's with Golden State or not.
You think he'll make one?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
So you said that he will
I did not.
not. So
Yeah, that's not
so
where I thought this was going. I did not think you would be on his side. So he's not a system player.
I
Okay.
think what he'll take away from Golden State, he'll either make another one with Golden State, or if he goes somewhere else, I think he could make another one. It just
You.
depends. It depends on where the who else in
Whoa.
that year are with the league and everything.
Well, I mean, that's just provided there's a whole bunch of injuries to give him that spot again. Because, golly. I mean, oh, man. You think he's going to be an all
Well,
star again? I'm going to remember this. I'm going to clip that. BJ thinks he's going to be an all star again. Okay. All right.
I mean, you realize how many of All Stars that we have are getting to the point that they won't be All Stars here in the next 5 years. And I think Wiggins will keep at this level of production and could make another All Star game again.
Man, if that man happens to ever.
I don't think he should be a starter. Let me preface that.
Oh, I mean, no, I mean that's not even a question because he will never
Yeah,
be ever, 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 no matter
I
what he
don't think
does.
he should be.
But I think the only chance he has, if he were to ever make any, well, never mind. I don't think he has a chance. I'll take my mind. No All Stars anymore. Number four, the energy drink Monster is in fact an overrated energy drink. With it or quit it.
I'll say with it, I'm not big on energy drinks of any
Yep,
kind, to be
we've been
honest
through
with
that with
you.
Red Bull.
But I mean, the when I had energy drinks in the past and I had Monster, it was disgusting. I didn't
Yeah,
really care for it at all.
there you go. It is disgusting. There's only one that tastes kind of okay, and that's that purple can. But don't do it.
I don't even do like energy drinks to mix with 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 booze or anything like that, which
Oh,
doesn't
Jaeger
seem
bombs
like
are great.
yeah, I have not I do not condone that.
It's good. I think it's actually helpful. It makes you want to pass out less if you take some Red Bull shots
Mhm.
with your Jaeger. Whatever. All right. Number five to close this bad boy
Uh,
out. Blue cheese is inferior to ranch. With it or quit it.
so inferior as in ranch is better, basically, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm not a big blue cheese guy at all. Ranch is probably the I'm gonna get a lot of flack, I think, for saying this, but I think ranch is the best salad dressing, kind of anything the what you can use ranch with. I don't think you can have the same kind of combinations that you can. I don't think fries with blue cheese taste as good as fries with ranch or anything like that. Chips with ranch, it's ranch has so many different uses that I don't think blue cheese would be the same as ranch in those cases.
Yeah, ranch is pretty versatile.
Hmm. That's the
As far
word.
as what you can dip it in, people dip some fries in it, they dip some chicken in it, whatever you can that's
Yeah,
respectably tasteable. You would dip in some ranch if you could. Blue cheese, you only really people who eat blue cheese only really kind of have that with like wings and celery
salad. Yeah,
and salads. Oh my god, that would just ruin a salad.
I think so too.
And
Yeah.
as far as dressings go, don't sleep on French dressing, but you sure as heck can't put it on anything else.
Italian's pretty good, but I only like with salad, basically.
Yeah, that's all we need to do.
Maybe on a sandwich, but
Welp, BJ, that is with it or quit it.
all right.
Boom. And we
Boom,
have
boom,
gone
bada boom.
through our Dirk episode here. I should have started off with that and called it the Dirk episode.
Yeah,
That should have been the name of the show. I might as well just made the whole show a Dirk episode. I should have done that. I dropped the
there's
ball.
always season three,
I
41.
dropped the ball on episode 41. Man, that's was a late tribute to Dirk is
Technically, this
okay.
is 51 because of
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. So I missed it 10 episodes ago. Shame on
that's
me.
right. That's
All
right.
right. Well, that's the end of this bad boy. Make sure you guys are following us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at _lowdown. That's THA_lowdown on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you're following us on the streaming platforms, YouTube and Twitch. We do our live streams, the recording of the podcast on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. A little bit late today. Sometimes the time changes, but we'll always let you know if it does. Haven't had any clips past this week. But I'll get some out. BJ definitely wants some clip from this one, so we'll see if we can snag some of those this weekend and get some of those scheduled to come out over the weekend and earlier in the week next week. But we appreciate everybody coming in that was hanging out on YouTube and or Twitch for however long, and we'll catch you guys again next week.
Peace.
Peace.